Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Is that good? Welcome back to the show. Yo, listen up, we back in the game. Sweep the league, we got the flame. All of it to the fullest, every single day we wake up, get it in every way. Right from the two in the global inspiration. Talk this sports and top news, no hesitation. Sweep the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that. STL Music, look what we did, where we at. Coach Jill in the house with the flow so tight. Every rubber rock stats, we unite. Yeah, the best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweep, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, RAYNE Fernandez.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
2, 1.
Well, as you guys can tell, Derek Gervin doesn't miss anything. If you don't want to miss anything as well, go to YouTube. Search at Sweep the League TV. Be a subscriber today. We're giving away a bunch of prizes and stuff. Be a subscriber today so you don't miss, just like Derek never misses. Subscribe to Sweep the League.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
Sweep the league TV where legends collide. If the Cowboys fall short, we'll still ride the tide. Like Jordan in the clutch or Brady's last play, we bring the fire, keeping fans in the fray. Gio and Marie calling the shots, with Derek coming straight Hall of Fame thoughts. So hit that subscribe, don't sit on the bench. Get in the game, every highlight's intense. The live stream's on till your friends don't delay. Like Kobe in the fourth, we're here to play. Sweep the League TV, where greatness resides. From the blogs, epic drives, till the halls on the rise. We're all in on sports, NBA, CFB, and more for fans. Live fans, it's the show you'll adore.
What is up, everybody? Rudy Campos Jr. here. Sweep the League on a very special Monday night Raw edition of Sweep the League. It's going to be myself. It's going to be Derek Gervin, Hall of Famer Derek Gervin. We're going to be coming to you live here with some Raw takes today. Hey, it's Monday. We got to start the week off right. Appreciate everybody joining us here. So starting strong at 23 on the live stream. Be sure to go to our YouTube page. All you have to do is go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 2,000, 2K. 2024. We want to match the year by the end of the year. Put it that way. We want to get to 2024 subscribers. How can we do that? With your help as well. Share the link, share the YouTube page, get us up to 2024. So that way all we need is one more subscriber to go into the new year, hitting at 2025. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about whatever the hell you guys want to talk about. But nonetheless, let's bring him on here. Shout out to MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Let's bring on the Hall of Famer himself. Now, we got to talk to him about MVP. MVP talking the NFL. So we're going to talk to him on that as well. Going to talk to him about some NBA, whatever you guys want to talk about. But we're bringing on the Hall of Famer himself, Derek Gervin, riding high with the Detroit Lions, man. What is up, man?
How you doing, sir? Hey, first I got to say I hope everybody had a happy holiday.
Oh, yeah.
I got to get to the pros quickly. Last week, I missed the Bears and the Falcons. Your team let me down. So this time, the Cowboys, I took the Giants over the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And I took the Bengals over the Steelers because I told you they had been struggling to score. And then they put up 44 points. So that's how my day has been going.
It's not. It's all not all bad, man. It's not all bad. That way we can remind people here. Shout out to Sith Elias in here. It says Rudy. These are your week 13 picks. You ended up taking the Giants. You took the Lions, Packers, Chiefs, Vikings, Texans, Colts. I told you about the Colts, man. They came through, but I mean the Colts were one that I feared the Patriots would beat. Chargers looking really good. Seahawks, Commanders, Rams, Bucks, Eagles, Bills, and Broncos. I think the Broncos are leading tonight, but. Yeah, man. I mean, the hottest team in football right now, one of them definitely is the Detroit Lions. I mean, they don't look like they're going to lose any time soon at all. We're going to get into some NFL talk. I want to get to the MVP talk as well because I got a surprise number 4 at MVP right now for me. Locked On Spurs, Jeff is saying, Street saying Jimenez, who he's referring to as the morning guy for podcasting, popped his collar at Rudy regarding W-2s. Honestly, man, I give away more money than I do anybody else, period. My W-2s are all about charity work. So come at me when that is equal to what I do for the fans out there for Sweep the League. So screw whatever that is, man. Also, Tim Gonzalez, Buddha Blue Devils. In the building, baby. Yeah, well, there's another In the Building show, but we can call this one In the Building as well. It's been a week since I've been on here. Yeah, Tim, we missed you, man. Monday Night Raw. I got a comment on the pay-per-view. I did see the pay-per-view, Sith. I need Sith to come on here for some wrestling talk from time to time. Detroit UTSA legend Derek Irvin. Appreciate everybody in here, man. And Josh Allen is MVP. So let's get into some football talk. We'll start NFL wise. I mean, we got a lot to talk about tonight. And the thing with MVP, you can go for recently, Derek, it's been back and forth, Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, back and forth. And I'll be honest with you, they're 1 and 2. I'm not gonna crap all over that. I've been blessed by the STL MVP, Rudy. Yeah, man. You know what? It's not even about that, brother. You deserve everything you get from us here. We help out everybody at the time of need. You needed some help, we hooked you up, brother, and that's what matters the most. We look out for all of our fans here. So that's the way I compare our show to everybody else's. What does everybody else do? In the time of need, we step up. That's all I'm going to say on that. Derek, are the Texans for real or not, Derek? What do you think on that?
I don't think so. I look at them now. I actually hold them in the same position as I hold the Commanders. They're a team that's an up-and-coming team, but for me right now, they're not in Super Bowl consideration. No,
definitely not. You know what? I'm going to say something really bad here, Derek. I think I have the Chiefs ahead of the Texans on the AFC side.
Oh, so do I. I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs until proven otherwise. But it's going to be interesting. And Rudy, you talk about the MVP. I also right now have Josh Allen, Saquon a very close second. And, I'm sorry there's no running back has won since I believe, Adrian Peterson, 2012?
Yeah.
But if you go by really looking at these teams, Josh, we know how important he is, even with the touchdown they've been showing over and over and over in the snow when they hiked it to him, the running back threw it to him and he takes it in the end zone. Oh, Amari Cooper.
Yeah, Amari Cooper.
Yeah. So
you realize that Josh Allen got a passing touchdown and receiving touchdown at the same play?
Touchdown. Yeah. So if you look at that but if you look at Saquon, the way he's been basically carrying the Eagles on his back, he's making Jalen Hurts look like kind of an afterthought. And so for me, it's those two clearly. And then I have Jared Goff. I have to give Jared Goff some love, man. I know people are saying he doesn't throw for a lot of yards. He manages the game, but he continues to manage the game. They continue to win. And so you look at those three, for me, it's head and shoulders above everyone else. And then you go to, for me, Kirk Cousins and whoever else you may throw in there.
Well, I'm going to give you my surprise hit right here. Leha's in here. Shout out to Chris Leha, MCS General Contracting, huge and big sponsors of Sweep the League. Leha knows that we give back to the fans. We give it back to everybody. I know Jeff was talking about W-2s and whoever wants to compare W-2s. I got my W-2s for a long time. Like I said, I give more money away than anybody else does in the town. So that's out of my own pocket, just FYI. So, yeah, appreciate you, Leha. You do everything for us here as well. Yeah, everything we do is because of you, man. Appreciate everything you do for MCS. And Tim is saying, sorry, the Tar Heels fired Mac Brown. I'm not sorry. He deserved to go. The guy's old, man. I mean, he's old. He deserves to be fired.
Hey, Rudy, I was with one of Mac Brown's best friends. I would say now it's been about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I went out and trained a young man out in Bernie, well, actually Fair Oaks.
Yeah.
and one of his best friends. And so Mac Brown, when I saw that the other day, I didn't want to like rub it, kind of rub it in anybody's face, but I thought it was time for a change. But I mean, he's done well. We know what he did with the Longhorns, and sometime it's just time for a change. And I know Mr. Brown has gotten up there in age as well, so I'm gonna wish him well on his next endeavor.
Oh yeah, same here. Mac's done everything he can do in college football. There's nothing really left to even think about that. We're gonna get into balls here in a little bit, Tim. We'll save the college football for probably the middle of the show here. The War Games question. I'll get into the War Games in a little bit here for the WWE pay-per-view that happened the other day. I'll get to that question here in just a little bit, Sith. But right now we're gonna talk some MVP football. So we basically said Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, 1 and 2, pretty much all year. We had Derrick Henry in there at the beginning of the season, kind of cooled off a little bit. You even heard some people say, "Well, Lamar Jackson's MVP." I don't buy the Lamar hype at all. I don't even have Lamar top 4.
Neither do I.
I've got year 3: Josh Allen, Saquon, and Goff. Those are the 3 right now. They're going in order. Number 4, Derek. I legitimately got to put Justin Herbert up there with what he's doing with the Chargers. That's just my opinion. I mean, he's got the Chargers now at 8-4. A lot of it has to do with Harbaugh. But you look at the Brady factor. The Brady factor is you do more with less. Herbert doesn't have Austin Eckler. He doesn't have Keenan Allen. He's basically got a very young, inexperienced wide receiver core. Ladd McConkey's a rookie. He's their best wide receiver right now. Running game, they got J.K. Dobbins, who's out for the year. Again, shout out to J.K. Dobbins, man. This is injury luck for him. But he has Gus Edwards as running back. Legitimately, Herbert's doing Brady things in the same category. He's doing more with less. That's why, personally, I have him number 4.
Over Sam Darnold.
Even because Sam Darnold has Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and Aaron Jones. He's got a lot of help. And even at that, Sam Darnold, they're 10-2. I get the Vikings hype. I won't be mad if you have him 4. I don't be mad at that. I just think Herbert is probably I give him a little bit more of a nod.
I don't argue with Herbert, but if you look at it, they're winning. Herbert kind of reminds me of Joe Burrow, except their record is a lot better.
Yeah.
But when I look at it, man, I'm like, oh my goodness, Sam Darnold. It's hard when you mention like Justin Jefferson to keep those guys happy and to continue to win. I have to factor that in because if you look at it, Sam Darnold was a guy that was written off by people with the Jets. And then to come to a new team like he's done and to continue to win and to keep guys happy. You don't hear the bickering. You don't hear Justin Jefferson complaining about not getting touches, kind of like a guy in Cincinnati by the name of Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb. I would factor him in there. I'm not saying him and Herbert to me are like this. So I couldn't go get upset with either one. But to me, they're 4 and 5. And maybe even I might even move them maybe over Jared Goff, to be honest about it. But I would have those two definitely right neck and neck.
I would definitely say if I'm going MVP vote right now, I'm going to be real. It's going to be, do I dare say it? If I'm having the vote now, I think it's Allen, Goff, Barkley, Herbert. And then Darnold right after that. I think that would be my vote.
Where do you have so we got to kind of dismiss Lamar and Joe Burrow. What do you have? What about Mahomes? Because he has played better the last several weeks.
He's played better the last several weeks, but I think Mahomes is still technically 7th, 8th on my list.
Yeah,
I have him behind Derrick Henry. I'll put Derrick Henry before Mahomes.
Ooh, boy.
I really would. I mean, I would put Derrick Henry before Mahomes. I don't know if I'd put Jordan Love equal to Mahomes.
I did a list earlier, top 10, and I had Henry up there, but I kind of dropped him down. I have Henry 8, I believe, and I have Lamar 9. I just think that they were 6-0, I believe, when Henry had 100 yards. Yeah. So now they're 6-1. But as the season has progressed, I blame John Harbaugh more than I blame Derrick Henry. Yeah. And I think, they don't give him – I mean, they're not consistent enough. Kind of reminds me of the Lakers with Anthony Davis. You never know what you're going to get from night to night. Are they going to use him as the number one option, or are they going to switch it up and go to LeBron? And it kind of reminds me of the same thing with the Ravens. And I think for me, Lamar, I can't put Lamar over Derrick Henry because Lamar is dropping back. What is he throwing? 30-something, 40 passes?
Yeah.
To me, that's way too much. You're not utilizing what he does best. And it's also hurting Derrick Henry. But for your first top four, top five, I can't argue not one position.
Yeah, that's losing football. We've been saying it beginning of the year, probably even last year, is the fact that Lamar Jackson, the more you have him in the pocket, the worse he is.
You know how I think
we've been saying that very clear.
I've been saying that 4 or 5 years, and people get like, Derek, what are you talking about? I say, well, I'm just going by what I see. I still don't think he throws the ball well in those tight windows. And even when you looked at the last game, he made some throws he missed some throws. Him and Joe Burrow are similar, Rudy. Yeah. They make those passes from the first 3 quarters. And Lamar's case, he makes them in the regular season. And then in the playoffs, he's missing guys. He's underthrown. He's throwing the ball too late. Kind of reminds me of Shedeur. He has a tendency of holding the ball too long. And that's my biggest gripe with Lamar. He holds the ball too long on a lot of cases. And he doesn't throw well in tight windows. Did you hear what he said about his mom cursed him out?
Yeah, I did. I heard that. I don't know. Shedeur is a different type of athlete. We're going to be talking about Shedeur Sanders, not tonight. We've got actually Daniel Kelly, first round mock draft, going to be on with us here probably at the end of the month. We're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders, all the other draft picks coming up for the college football, the NFL mock drafts and NFL drafts coming up. We're going to talk a lot about that as well. That's our MVP talk, and I can't discredit, what the Ravens are kind of accomplishing. They're 8-5, but let me put it this way. Before the season started, I made a very bold prediction, and I said, even Gio admitted, we expected the Ravens to be damn near last in the AFC North. So they're not there. But here's the thing. I still feel that if they don't get to the Super Bowl, AFC's championship at least, minimum, Harbaugh's got to be a consideration to move on from Harbaugh. It really is. Now, Justin Tucker has lost a lot of games for them already. Hey,
Rudy, what happened to that foot, man? He's missed 10 kicks this year.
I have no idea.
He cost him 7 points last night. I mean, what's going on? You talking about one of the best kickers that we've seen in a long, long time. And then all of a sudden, man, it's like this year, I looked at his kicks, a lot of them off to the right. He just doesn't look like the same guy. It's amazing.
Remember the yips? Everybody gets the yips from time to time. It reminds me of Brad Lidge from the Astros. He was dominant until Albert Pujols hit that home run off of him, and then Brad Lidge was just never the same after that. Speaking of quarterbacks, Sith brought this up, and he was talking about Lawrence is never going to be what it could have been player, but also the hit on Trevor Lawrence. We saw Shahir get that hit on Trevor Lawrence, and you even saw Rex Ryan talking about it this morning, saying they got to teach quarterbacks to take a dive, to slide properly, to do all this. This is a very touchy subject, Eric, because as a quarterback, you're taught, to slide, and, you see that. But at what I get protecting the quarterback, but at what point does it say, okay, the quarterback, when he's running, where does it end?
Right.
Because you can't allow a QB to keep going, obviously. You have
fake like he's going down and then keep running.
Kenny Pickett did it in college when he was with Pittsburgh. He looked like he was going to slide. He fake slide and went off for a touchdown. So I don't know exactly how to fix something like this, because when a player's coming after you, I get you don't launch at a quarterback. You don't launch at any player.
It wasn't malicious, though, Rudy, in my opinion.
That's the thing. If it was a shoulder-to-shoulder contact and you made contact with the head, bounce the head off the field, it's so precise, so, split-second moment. how do you determine what is malicious, what is not, what is intentional, what is not? I don't really believe there's any intention to hurt a player at all in any game. I don't believe that. I mean, there's some instances, but in that hit right there, I don't see that as a malicious hit. It's just an NFL play, but it's one that definitely has to be looked at.
Well, it's looked at because it's kind of like a Draymond situation. And you got to look at the player. The young man has had issues before. At one time, I think he even choked Tom Brady, didn't he?
Yeah.
So there's been several instances. It reminds me, what's the guy used to play with Cincinnati a few years ago?
Montez Burfict.
Montez Burfict.
Yeah.
Your track record follows you. So even sometime when it's a questionable call, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt because of your track history. Yeah. And we've seen Draymond, had the same situation. We've seen several guys have the same situation in football. And it's kind of sad because I really didn't think there was an intentional hit. The young man apologized. Trevor Lawrence accepted his apology, and we move forward. But, yeah, they're going to have to kind of figure it out. How do you fix that kind of rule? Because the slide, I understand, but you got to slide a little more safely too, don't you, Rudy?
Yeah.
You got that head up there, man. I mean, when you're exposing the head.
So can we kind of look at it like this? And I love what Sith said. Sith is correct. It wasn't a dirty hit. After you rewatch it, it technically wasn't dirty. Like I said, it's so in the moment type of a move that you don't know if it's really truly a dirty hit. I don't think the intention of hurting Trevor Lawrence was there. I'm pretty sure it wasn't there. There's a lot of, you can tell when a hurt is intentional, a hit is intentional. That was not intentional to hurt him at all. So do you feel like where I was thinking, okay, how do you teach a quarterback to slide? You see a lot of them slide, foot first and their head is up. Like you said, can't you teach them to slide? Like if you're sliding into second base in some instances where you're sliding sideways, your shoulders on the ground, balls on the ground, you're starting to slide. Your head is kind of protected a little bit more rather than it being straight up and you going straight back. Your head's off to the side, you slide like that. But then again, it goes back to what if it's a fake slide? We've seen it happen with Kenny Pickett, like I mentioned. A fake slide. He pretends he's going to slide, then he gets back up. Defense is caught off guard to get more yardage. So something's got to give somewhere. I don't know how to fix it. It's going to be something that they're going to have to look at. But then you get the Draymond factor, like you mentioned, Derek. The fact that it's going to follow you. He's already been, Shazir's already been targeted before. I think he hit CJ Stroud a year ago. Nothing malicious, but it was out of bounds. He's got a couple of hits already that the NFL's already watched and looked at. So it's going to follow him, and it could really ruin a kid's career, to be honest with you.
Pickens is having problems as well, isn't he? George Pickens?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think a lot of his stuff is
Pickens has Gilbert Arenas syndrome, man, and John Morant syndrome. I mean, that's dumb. You're seeing it trying to be taken out of the game, and then here you are still doing it. And then he says, well, no, that's part of my first down celebration. Who gives an ass? Who cares? Take it out of every celebration. They're trying to get out of that type of thing there.
I don't like it, man. I think that's stupid, to be honest. The times that we're in, and if you didn't learn anything from the job situation, you're not really paying attention and you're not educating yourself. There's no place for that in the game, man. And I'm sure we'll get to these other stuff Tim was asking about earlier with these fights going on.
Yeah, and I kind of got something on that too. Ray Dean's in here. Lakers looking good. Only 43 more wins. AD is MVP. Told you he's good. Well, we never doubted about AD being good. I don't know about the 43 more wins thing, but we never doubted it. Anthony Davis. In fact, we've always said Anthony Davis is the best player on the Lakers team.
He's not the MVP right now. He's not even in the top two. Right now, it's Jokic, and then Giannis has snuck up into the picture.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Bucks were, 4-9?
Yeah.
And now they're, 10-9 or something like that?
The Bucks are creeping on up now. I wrote them off for a long time ago, but I knew they weren't going to actually be bad all year. It's just going to take a little bit of time, but I don't give Doc Rivers any credit on any type of, getting the Bucks ship steered in the right direction. I give Doc Rivers zero credit. So
Glenn, I call him Glenn now. I love him as a person, but yeah, last few years he's been Glenn Rivers for me.
hey man, Glenn Rivers is completely fine. Talking to Derek Irvin, Hall of Famer Rudy Campos Jr. Sweep the League. The Monday Night Raw edition of Sweep the League is coming to you live from Sweep the League Studios. Be sure to go to our YouTube page, search Sweep the League TV. So before we go to our first commercial break and our only commercial break here, we talked MVP, we talked NFL. I got to get your takes because we have a little segment. Normally we wait towards the end of the show to do something like this, but we're gonna do our caught off guard segment here right now. All right, man. So caught off guard, Derek. Here you go. Which seat are you picking if you're on a 15-hour flight and you got to sit in one of these seats? Is it next to Patrick? Next to George Kittle, Aaron, hell, would you like to sit next to Al Michaels? I personally picked seat number 5 in between the Manning brothers because I think that'd be cool as hell. Tony Braun, you want to sit next to the Ball brothers, or do you want to sit next to the Kelsey brothers? Who are you picking? And everybody out there watching Sweep the League.
For me right now, it would be seat number 7 because first of all, 7 is a lucky number. And then I saw those new shoes LaMelo just came out with, the red and the yellow, the fire-looking shoes.
Oh, yeah.
I want to sit at number 7 because I want to talk about what they felt about their dad when he was basically making a spectacle of himself. And people were like, this guy's insane. And now you look at, I know Lonzo's been hurt, but if you look at LaMelo right now, LaMelo would be in the MVP voting as well. So, yeah, I would like to talk to the Ball brothers.
Man, I thought you would never say that. And probably, honestly, can I say in our lifetime maybe that LaMelo Ball would be in some sort of MVP talk? I didn't think I'd ever say that ever in my mind, to be honest with you.
I have to tell Sith, I don't want to be with the Kelseys because I don't want to talk about Taylor Swift. I want to talk about what's really going on. And so with the Ball brothers, I told you, I saw those shoes. I was like, man, I would wear those.
Have you seen the Scooby-Doo shoes that came out?
Yeah, he had some red, and he had perfect time, and they came out the right time. And to see the Ball brothers succeed, and then Alonzo's coming back soon, and the dad actually put out something that said, got something coming to you soon. So I'm trying to figure out, is Lonzo on the trade? I know he's on the trade market, but is he getting ready to head to Charlotte? So, yeah, I would like to talk to those guys.
You realize that if Lonzo goes to Charlotte to team up with LaMelo, you realize how bad LeVar is going to be pushing LiAngelo to get some kind of deal with the Charlotte Hornets. That's wicked. The hot Cheeto Pumas, I have those shoes. I've yet to wear them, but I do have the hot Cheeto Puma shoes that LaMelo has. In fact, this week, because I know Derek and I are going to be doing a few shows this week, I'll bring them out maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, and I'll show them to people. I have them, so I can't just go unless maybe I'll go during the commercial break and go get them. They look cool. Have you ever seen them, Derek?
No.
So maybe during the commercial break, I'll go get the hot Cheeto shoes. But yeah, they are pretty crazy, man. I'm glad he brought that up. I can see if I can go get them here. They are goated. Yeah, Ray Dean already predicted the Cowboys draft Shedeur Sanders and get Coach Farm. No, it's not happening. Damn. Cowboys are not going to hire Deion Sanders, and they're not going to get Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur's going to be probably a Giant for all we know. So
Tim has a better chance of coaching Duke.
Yeah, I would say that. I would probably say that, man. We had to get your reaction on who you would sit. I took the Mannings because do you realize how many laughs in 15 hours we're going to have with Peyton and Eli? I mean, then I can ask Eli, oh, hey, you beat Tom Brady, twice in the Super Bowl? You interrupted and screwed up his entire perfect season that he was supposed to have. Peyton, you won a Super Bowl with the Colts. You were there with the Broncos, yada, yada, yada. Just, I can try to figure out if it's going to be Peyton Manning or Peyton Manning or debating Manning or whatever he wants to call him.
If you had Eli, so we know about the Hall of Fame. If you had Eli and maybe Arch, and if you had the 3 of them, then they have to make another seat for me because I would like to sit there with the 3 of them. And because Arch is, Arch is a hot topic right now.
Hey, man, Arch, it's kind of funny because rumor has it that Quinn Ewers is not going to go pro. He's going to enter the transfer portal, and he's going back to Ohio State because he knows he can't be. He's not going to start next year. Arch is not taking a backseat next year. Arch is a starter for Texas.
But Rudy, they talked to Arch, right? And they've talked, because they didn't want Arch to leave. At one time, they were talking about maybe Peyton had even made some comments, and it looked like maybe Arch would be leaving. But the people at Texas sat down and they talked to Arch, and they let him know that's going to be his team. And it's kind of weird because Ewers was in the Heisman conversation last year and earlier this year, and now to be basically pushed aside for Arch Manning. So next year is Arch Manning's team, and I'm sure Ewers knows that.
Yeah, if Ewers doesn't go pro, he's definitely going to transfer, and I think Ohio State is actually the team that he would probably go to. Originally, he was with Ohio State, I think, but he transferred to Texas because of the whole NIL type thing. Probably better in NIL for him in Texas.
Well, wait now. You say go back to Ohio State. Is Ohio State going to have the same coach?
Oh, God. I need you to save that for after the break because I really want to bring up that whole rant type thing that I have. Shout out to Louis Lou, the man. Like I see the taco truck. Manny brother. He's taking the Manning brothers for sure on that. Sid is saying the Mannings were his second pick. They call him Eli. He says he has a forehead to fit with them too. So he says he's got a big forehead like Peyton and Eli Manning, man. NC State wide receiver Casey has entered the transfer portal. You know what? We're going to enter the commercial portal for the first time here. It is Hall of Famer Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos Jr. When we get back, we'll talk some college football. And I've done it once already, Derek, and I feel like I need to send a very special message to the San Antonio Spurs again. I feel like I'm back on track on stuff. I have
Victor.
Yeah, I think you know where I'm going with that here. We're gonna have to have a little heart to heart with the Spurs. Also, some college football talk when we get back. It's gonna be Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos Jr. We'll be right back, guys.
Better tonight, maybe a little bit better than you bargained for. I was really obsessed with this idea that my soulmate was just somewhere out there. Hey, look around. Maybe your soulmate is here. You all have good taste in music. When the gold fell on your skin and my hair caught in the wind, the choir sang a melancholic hymn. I feel like tonight in a venue like this with the LA Phil, with my band, it feels like every single part of me coming together. I've never felt more like me. I'll never forget this night. Thank you so much.
Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting. Building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
You are watching Sweep the League TV. Make sure you subscribe and catch our new videos.
Sweep the League TV with Rudy Derrick and Coach Gia. Let's get back to the live show. You are watching the best in the business. For the ones who doubted, now we're showing the proof. Came from the struggle, we live in the truth.
STL Music.
Yeah, challenges come, but we here to stay. Built from the dirt, now we paving the way. Had a bad day, but this life ain't bad.
All right, welcome back to Sweep the League. Hall of Famer Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos Jr. coming to you live from the Sweep the League studios. Shout out to MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League, best in the business. You need something done. Hey, man, you want to start a house, you got to build that foundation like the Spurs did with Victor Wembanyama. Now with Stephon Castle, they built the foundation. MCS is just as good, if not even better, than the San Antonio Spurs at that. They are the best in the business, 100% guaranteed, backed by Sweep the League. Their work is guaranteed. Chris Leahy and the boys take care of you the first time, every time. That is MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. So we want to call college football. You know, we got some apologies to do, but Derek, I want to show you that I do have those LaMelo shoes here, the hot Cheetos. Now, what's cool about this, and you know what? I'm going to see if I can get another pair. I'm going to dig into the Sweep the League vault and see if they have another pair. So if I can get another pair, we can give them off as a giveaway here. But they even come with a shoe bag that's a Cheeto bag. I mean, it's like ridiculously cool, man. So yeah, it's got its own bag, and I've yet to wear them. But yeah, these are what they look like, man.
2024.
Look at that. Look at that.
I like those.
They are Cheetos, man. Like hot Cheeto stuff. This is crazy good. So yeah, shout out to LaMelo, man. He's putting out some really good product out there. I'm loving it. Let me see if I can get another pair. I'm gonna contact the boys over at Puma and say we need to give away a pair.
I'm a hard guy to please, but I like those.
What is your preference on shoes? Like, is it a certain color you like? Because I like the razzle dazzle type.
I don't care, man. Just anything that matches the sweats, I might wear that day. I don't care. Yeah, I like all the colors. So you know how it is. You have to match. And me being in Detroit, I have to make sure my gear matches. So yeah, I don't really have a preference.
Yeah, man. I love also. I've got a whole bunch of shoes that I've got to go through here. Shout out to Seth, man.
You have sky blue and these Tar Heel colors?
I do. I have a pair of Adidas Crazy Ones that are baby blue.
I would like that. I like some Tar Heel colors. I'm a red guy and a blue guy. But if you got, I like the different colors, like the ones you just showed. You got the orange, the yellow, you got all that, the black in there. I like that, man. As we move, and I'm looking at Sweep the League with the colors. So anything that's, I like fire. Let's say that.
We got the Cheeto colors for Sweep the League, man. Shout out to Sid, man. We're gonna play a game of horse. I don't know how good I am anymore at basketball. We'll definitely do a game of horse, and he's got to head out here pretty soon. Appreciate you joining us here, Sid. For myself, Derek Irvin, we appreciate you very, very much. And going to college football, because there's a couple of things we're gonna get into in a little while here. But college football, you had a bunch of rivalry games. You had Texas and Texas A&M. They renewed the rivalry. Texas took care of them there. The Longhorns attempted to mess up, Aggieland, put it that way, when they were on the logo and you started that. But you had Sark, who I give a lot of credit to. Sark said, hey, get off the damn field, go back to the locker room. We can celebrate in there. But then you had other teams. You had Michigan, obviously, Ohio State, the big fight that they had. And, you had Michigan trying to plant the flag. You saw, I believe it was Florida State's another one. Yeah. You saw a lot of different schools planting the flag and doing it. And I get it's rivalry, but is that something that probably needs to be looked at and say, that's a bit too far. For me personally, that's a bit too far. I think if you went on a rival's turf, celebrate, no problem with that. But don't disrespect the field. Don't disrespect the logos, anything like that. I hated the fact that Kyrie spat on the logo for the Boston Celtics when he went back to Boston. I hate all that type of disrespect shit. And sorry for cussing, but I really do hate that kind of stuff. It really just downgrades the game for me. I hate the sportsmanship on that. That's my personal opinion. But before I give you the floor on that, Ryan Day, I'm glad you got your ass handed to you because of what you did to Indiana last week. Not that you beat the Hoosiers, but because you went into victory formation and decided to score another touchdown or run up the score. I've never liked Ryan Day. I'm glad Michigan beat him. Derek, the floor is all yours.
Well, they had the same situation with Mr. Franklin at Penn State, didn't they?
They did. They did.
Yeah, but I don't like it, man. And the only reason I don't, I know you've earned a win. It was a great game. Michigan, this is the 4th year in a row they've beaten Ohio State. But you don't, just certain things you don't do, and especially when you know what it's going to lead to.
Yeah.
I understand the guys want to have fun and all that and let everybody know that, we're here and we did this and we did that. But you're showing up the other team. And then to try to plant the flag, you already know when you do it. To me, it's like you're looking for trouble. And that's the part I don't like about it. I didn't like it with Florida State and Florida, the monkey see, monkey do thing. And a lot of that I blame the coaches for. Because you got to act like you've been there before, Rudy. I mean, it got ugly. You watch a very nice game on national TV, and then to end that way, you got players being pepper sprayed and some police getting, seriously injured. But the fact that they're getting injured at all, I just think that's some outlandish behavior, and we got to do better, man. I didn't like it at all. I mean, it's just terrible. And as far as Coach Day, I mean, I'm hoping he keeps his job at Ohio State. A lot of talk in Ohio State. The fans are upset. And if you look at it, me being born and raised in Detroit, that game is, if Michigan were to go 1-12, but they beat Ohio State, you're basically saving your job.
Yeah.
And so I was happy to see them win. I picked Ohio State to win the game, but I was in heaven that Michigan won. But don't tarnish the game with the behavior, man. And we got to do better. It's been happening way too often, and I don't want to see it continue. So I'm hoping the NCAA comes up with something where the guys can still celebrate, but don't do that kind of stuff, man. It's not necessary. What happened to sportsmanship?
Exactly. It's the sportsmanship thing. It really gets on my nerves when you see teams do that. They always say you got to learn to lose, and you got to learn to win.
Fine them $100,000. I mean, what is that? Honestly,
it's really nothing. And you brought up Michigan, Ohio State. I'm the same way with North Carolina, Duke. If North Carolina goes 2-40 the entire year, as long as those 2 wins are against Duke, they won the national championship. Period for me. That's my national title game. I don't care what they do the rest of the year. As long as those 2 wins they get over Duke, I don't care what they do the rest of the year. That's just me personally. That's the rivalry that I have for that. But on the sense of the whole planting the flag and all that, just move on. You got the win, you got the victory. Just move on. There's no reason to show up the other team. There's no reason for that.
They weren't going to let you do it. So why do it? That's all I'm saying. 100%.
Because
they're not going to let you run. We've seen it happen. Players running to the Star. We saw Terrell Owens run to the Star in Dallas. And the second year he got tackled. People are not going to allow that, man. And I mean, you be a graceful winner and be a graceful loser. Once you beat us, and I also had a problem with Ohio State. They could have went to their locker room as well, but I know they have a song that they sing every game after the end of the game, and I don't think some people knew that. So that's why they were still on the field. But of course they're going to get upset when you're trying to basically disrespect their stadium and their fans.
Oh yeah, 100%, and that's that's where it needs to stop. I mean, but like I said a second ago, Derek, look at the world we live in. There's no discipline anywhere.
That's the problem. Is we getting out of hand. What happened to? It doesn't seem like that long ago when we were talking about teaching kids the right way.
Yeah.
And that's not teaching them the right way. You're teaching them now to show up your opponent. You show up your opponent by beating them, but you can do it gracefully.
Mm-hmm.
This other stuff after, you taunting guys after you get a touchdown. And look how many penalties we get now in the NFL or college right after you score, and it just baffles me because you're penalizing your team because you get a 15-yard personal foul penalty, taunting. Yeah. And now, so the kickoff, you're hurting your team. And it seems like guys don't care today. It's all about grow my brand at the expense of my team. Damn everything else. I'm trying to get my shine on. I'm going to grow my brand. And that's not what the game is about, not a team sport.
That's really all that this damn game's about these days is growing a brand. You want to see how many likes you get on TikTok. You want to be on Sports Center and having everybody watch you on, social media, and that's all it is. And I think coaches are a little afraid to show discipline because if they show discipline, well, guess what? I'm transferring out of here. I'm going somewhere else because I can't be myself. I can't grow my brand here where I can grow it somewhere else. And I love NIL. I love the transfer portal, but also it can be a curse on so many stages. It can be a huge curse.
Rudy, who started this? I'm not going to give him all the blame, but in football a few years, who started acting a fool, taking their jersey off, running off the field?
Antonio Daniels.
Okay, it's Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. I'm sorry, Antonio Brown.
And it seemed like after that, man, people just lost their mind. It worked for Antonio, so let me be the next one. Not thinking of the ramifications that can come because first of all, you're not on the same level as Antonio Brown. And it seems like today, these coaches got to get more of a hand on their team, a grip on these guys, and start teaching them again that it's about sportsmanship. Once we lose sportsmanship, man, you talk a lot of things going to go sideways. You're going to start losing revenue. A lot of stuff is going to happen. Your TV deals are going to not be the same. Yeah. And I don't want to see that happen, but it looks like we're headed that way.
Sad but true. We are going to be heading that way. That's our talk on the college football playoffs. We got the college football playoffs are going to be coming out tomorrow, the rankings. So we'll see how far people drop. Ohio State dropping. Apparently they dropped pretty damn low. I think 5 spots?
8 to 7 or 8?
Yeah, 7. I think they're, what are they, third? Yeah, about 8th. I think they were 8th last I checked. Indiana was at 5. So, I mean, they moved up. Two things before we go to NBA. I got to say, I told Derek on the show last week, Indiana by 50. No doubt about that.
Yeah, you did call it.
He won by 66.
You didn't call him by 66, but
I didn't. I remember texting you right before that, Georgia.
You said, if I remember correctly, I thought you said they were going to score about 60.
I said they would win by 50, and they probably would score 60.
Well, I said I don't see that happening. I said I see them winning, but I just don't. Because I listened to it the other day. I watched listened to our show. Yeah. And I went back and listened, and you did say that. I believe you said 60, but I said I don't see that happening. They're going to win, but I didn't see that coming. Oh, my goodness.
They were pissed. They were pissed after that game. So that's why I said I felt so bad for Purdue because they were just
going to coach after that, man.
They were going to
recruits after that.
I have no idea, but I remember texting you right before Georgia Tech, and said, I think Georgia Tech might win this game. And I even tagged Kenny Anderson.
Oh, you really weren't wrong in my mind, technically.
There was some calls there that.
Got one call. You know where I'm going with the
Go for
forward progress.
Yes.
All of a sudden turned into a Kansas City Chiefs fumble.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, God. Don't get me started on the Kansas City game. That was.
Well, wasn't that the ball game, 27-20, forward progress?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they changed it to a fumble.
That was it. That was it, man. There was 2 bad calls in both games. And yeah, I remember I tweeted out and I tagged Kenny Anderson, our former Georgia Tech point guard. And he retweeted it too, because I was like, I think Georgia Tech's going to win this game. It just has all the feel for it. And they should have. In fact, I think Georgia Tech did win. I would give them the win. It's just an unfortunate call in that game right there. But what I got to do before we have a couple of more little tidbits here for Derek, because I got to get his opinion on it. But before we do, I got to play the NBA bump because, again, I got to pull out the waterworks for San Antonio Spurs fans out there. I never, ever am the type of guy that beats a dead horse. When I know I've got to eat crow and stuff, I'll do it. So let's get to the NBA bump here. All right. So the San Antonio Spurs are number 10 in the West. They're sitting at 11-9. I would say, Derek, on paper, this team was a 30-win team. They are by far way ahead of progress. And I will say this, I had them pegged at 30 wins. I said we're going to give them up until about 30 games of the season, see where they're at. Maybe I'll change it a little bit. I see that they're 19 wins away from hitting that 30 plateau mark. They're 2 games above 500. And honestly, I've seen a different side of the Spurs that I didn't expect to happen right away. Chris Paul is a winner. I didn't expect Chris Paul from the New Orleans Hornets to come through the door and play the way that he has been. Harrison Barnes is a winner. He's a player. He's a veteran. I didn't expect him to come in here winning Western Conference Player of the Week or Player of the Month or whatever he got. So second-year Victor, I knew would be good, but I didn't think Victor would get it through his head that the paint is where he needs to play. And lately we've been seeing that paint presence coming around for Victor, and it's making a difference. I didn't expect Champagnie to have the season that he's having. I knew Stephon Castle was good. I've been preaching it since day one, but I didn't expect it right away. You're good. I didn't expect it to happen right away. So right now, I send my apologies to the San Antonio Spurs. For the first 20 games of the year, your expectations are high and by far way better than I expected. What do you think, Derek?
They've looked well. They've looked pretty good. Champagnie looks like he's going to have to stay in the starting lineup. You need that three-point threat. And did you see Victor's become a superstar? Did you see the play at the end of the game against Sacramento when Keldon missed the second free throw?
He reached over. He clearly reached over.
He more than reached. He had Sabonis in a chokehold. And then had a chokehold, reached over and tipped the ball back out, and the refs act like they saw nothing.
Yeah.
So that means the Spurs
are
getting respect. But Rudy, I can see them right now. I'm gonna say 40 and 42. At one time, I had said that the maximum. I told you the maximum 40 and 42.
Yeah,
I still gonna give them that because I think they'll beat teams like the Wizards, Raptors, and all that. But even then, they won't win every game. But I think as you go down the stretch and teams start taking them more serious, it's still going to be a struggle for them to I'll say right now they're looking like a play-in team. And so I'll give them that. But they've exceeded expectations. I'm proud to say that I'm a San Antonio guy, and hey, let me show everybody. So, I mean, I've been proud. Chris Paul, I'm a Chris Paul guy. The point guard has brought a winning tradition here. Pop, I'm sure Pop is proud. Mitch Johnson is doing a fantastic job, and they're a team that has to be taken serious.
Yeah, and the thing too is you brought up Champagnie. I know when Devin kind of gets cleared a little bit more to jump into the starting five, I clearly am on the Champagnie needs to go back to the bench role, even though he spreads the floor. But we've talked about it before. We can't see him putting Stephon Castle back on the bench. The guy is playing ridiculous next to Chris Paul. The plus and minus is probably off the charts with him on the court, him, Victor, Chris Paul, and Barnes. I know one guy's got to go down. I like the Paul, Castle, Devin, Harrison Barnes, Victor starting five. I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah, Sohan has to go to the bench because I look at all the metrics and all that. It seems like they don't play that great when Sohan and Victor are on the floor together as starters, and that goes back to last year. So they got decisions to make. I guess you keep Harrison in there because you need that veteran presence with Harrison and Chris Paul, and they got to figure it out. But in no way do I send Castle backwards.
No,
he's a fixture in the starting lineup in my mind, and him. What number is he? 5.
5.
Yeah, so the 51, that's hitting when you look at that. When they start talking about the 51 and stuff, him and Victor. So at no point does he go back to the bench for me. So they got to figure it out. But like I told you last week, anytime you have an issue like that, who goes to the bench? that means you have a pretty good team. You have a deep team.
Talking to Jeff Garcia, we have a Locked On Spurs coming out tomorrow. Be sure to take a look at it because it has to deal with the starting lineups. But I made a comment to Jeff, and I basically said, you can't move Stephon Castle to the bench. There's no doubt, there's no way. There hasn't been a bigger rookie impact than Tony Parker. Now, can't you say Kawhi Leonard because Kawhi didn't get a whole lot of starts his rookie year, so it's coming along. But the impact that we saw with Stephon reminds me of Tony. When Tony got inserted in the starting lineup early in the season for Antonio Daniels, this is the same effect that Stephon Castle has.
I think Castle he has an even bigger effect, to be honest about it. For
I will
one thing,
agree
he's bigger and he defends. Tony wasn't known as a defender.
Yeah.
And if you look at Castle, I mean, he right now, if you really look at it, he would probably be the best rookie in the league. I don't put anyone above him. I know Dalton Connect has some offense in his game and playing for the Lakers, but if you look at just maturity right now, no way you bring Vassell. Oh, you bring Vassell? No, that's going to change, Tim.
Yeah.
You got to have Devin in the starting lineup because he's a guy capable of getting you 30 points. But Castle's in that mixture. So you got Wemby. That's your threesome there. You got Wemby, you got Castle, and you got Vassell.
Yeah.
And then you got Harrison Barnes and whoever your fifth guy may be, whether it's Champagne or Sohan or whoever. We know it's not going to be Keldon. But that young man has earned his spot, and Vassell is not – they didn't pay Vassell to come off the bench. And he shouldn't be coming off the bench.
No. And the only reason why he is now is because he's coming back from injury. I understand they don't want to rush it. People are talking that maybe they're going to keep him on the bench or bring him off because by now he should be a starter. And it's still too early.
5 games because he got to get his win.
I think we said about 5 games would be the time where we'll start to see coming up. Forget the bench. He'll be starting after about 5, maybe 6 games is what we talked about, I think, a week ago on that subject. So it's going to be interesting to see when Jeremy comes back, which should be tomorrow night. He's probable for tomorrow night against Phoenix. If not that game, it's going to be the game after when he returns. I don't foresee them putting him in the starting 5, at least not right away. But one thing I give credit to Mitch is, it's so crazy, Derek, because people are bitching left and right on social media that Mitch Johnson's the reason for this. And, I told you Pop should have gone. And, well, no, Mitch is running Pop's system. Yeah. To me, this is still a Spurs system. You're still playing Spurs basketball. Head coaching is different, but Mitch does bring a different aspect to the game that Pop didn't bring. Oh, again, something you and I have talked about before. Who's correct on that? Which side of the fence is correct on that? Because for me, Mitch is just going to coach like Mitch.
We talked about this recently, but with either one of them, you can't go wrong. The reason you can't go wrong, I'm going to say it again, people, they have the point guard.
Yeah.
With Chris Paul, it didn't matter either way because he's going to get acclimated to Pop's system. He's going to get acclimated to Mitch Johnson's system, whoever you bring in. They have Chris Paul, and every team he's been on has gotten better. And he gets guys in the right position. And they know that. And you notice they don't talk back to Chris. You notice that, right? That includes Victor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you got a guy like that, that's been a proven winner. And I know people say he never won the championship. That's not his fault. They've had injury situations that have hurt them. And, at crucial moments. And so I like Mitch. I think that has brought some energy to the team when you have a younger coach, but I'm not ready to throw Pop to the side yet. I think he's earned the way to go out on his own merits. And if Pop wants to come back and hopefully he'll be feeling well health-wise. But I like Mitch will get his turn or whoever, Becky Hammond or whatever. But, of course, you get a new coach that's going to put some new energy into you. The question is how long? Because we see it all the time. Dallas was playing great without Luka, right? But how long can you continue that trend before you need Luka? And it's the same with a coach. At some point, I think they're going to need Pop. But I just hope that his health is better. And if he's up to it, I think he'll be back. If not, hey, we move forward. And whatever they're going to do, they're going to have a decision to make. Maybe it'll be Mitch Johnson for the rest of the year, but that remains to be seen.
Yeah, either way, it's going to be a good outcome for the Spurs, whether Pop comes back or not. We do wish the best for Pop. We're on the last segment here for Sweep the League. Before we got to log off, Let's hit some music here. Normally this is our pick of music, but Derek, I need your opinion on two things here. I'm going to bring them up here on the screen. I'd love to get your input on them. First thing is first. We traveled to the wonderful world of Hawaii, Derek. The Maui Invitational. What god-awful thing happened in Maui? Well, poor Dan Hurley and his Huskies, they went 0-3. So what does Dan say? He says, well, I'm not doing another 3-game Maui Invitational. Moving forward, we only do playing games and home games, single game events, yada, yada, yada. This has to lose some kind of credibility with you, because for me, I lost a little bit of respect and credibility for Dan Hurley, because every top team has gone through the Maui Invitational. Some of them have had success. Some of them have lost to Chaminade when they weren't supposed to. But you know what? Those teams survive. What is with Dan Hurley on his comments?
He's feeling like they're getting sabotaged by the officials. But here's my question, and I'm going to say it. If you act like an ass, there's a chance that, I mean, it's just human nature, right? These referees are people. Yeah. But for him to say that they'll never play there again as long as he's coaching there, he said, well, as long as I'm at Connecticut. So maybe, I might end up somewhere else. But that's like a sore loser to me, man. 3 games you lost, all 3 games. Did you have your team prepared? And I guess he's going through the frustrations, Rudy, of losing a lot of his guys from the last 2 years. He's got a younger squad now. But this behavior that he's displaying, you know who he reminds me of in the NFL? What player is that does he sound like that plays in the NFL right now? Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, it would be Aaron.
Just taking no accountability for you being the head coach. And you lost 3 games in a row. You can't blame that all on the officials. Did you have your team prepared? And that's what's sad about it. You're getting all that visibility. It's a great tournament. We've had no problems year after year after year. And rest in peace, Bill Walton. We've seen Bill Walton do the show, commentating. And it's a great time. And for him to talk like that, man, I thought it was just absolutely ridiculous. And he sounded like a little baby.
He did, and I love how Ron Harper, former, NBA great, NBA champion Ron Harper, leaves the comment. It's all about him, what the kids that would never get to travel for that far again. Basically, it's making it about himself. He's never going to give his opportunities to kids to play for UConn as long as he's there, to travel to Maui. Why? Because sometimes they may not be able to get to Maui ever in their lifetime. It's sometimes a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And that's what Ron is saying, man. Quit making it about yourself, Dan. It's about UConn. You know what? Go to Maui. Go. So you mean to tell me that he's never going to play in that Battle for Atlantis tournament or anything like that? This is what helps programs grow. Are tournaments like this. Sometimes, Derek, during an NBA title run, the Spurs lost to an overseas team in preseason. I mean, you know what? It happens. You don't have the best team in college basketball because you were number 1, number 2 this year. Losing 3 games in Maui, guess what? Now you're ranked number 25. That just kind of shows that you need to hit the laboratory once more and get better.
Don't tarnish the family name, though. Everybody knows about his dad was a great coach.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about Bobby Hurley, Duke Blue Devil legend. Don't tarnish your family's name with this tomfoolery, I'll call it. You lost. You shake it off and you come back better. But to say that you'll never play again in the Maui Invitational, I thought that was just totally disrespectful to the tournament and to the game of college basketball.
100%. We're going to stick to the basketball roots here. We got one more for you, Derek. And I love you as a brother. I've loved you, since we met each other. We're family. And I'm going to have to pick on your brotherhood here because this is something that I wanted to get to you, and that's the NBA, man. The NBA. So basically the clip played here and what it is this is not your NBA. Your NBA was NBA for me and for you. But the NBA is so hard to watch. Why? I'm going to have to play this again. If it comes up here, let me turn the volume down for everybody. But it's a 3-point barrage type of league, as you see. This whole sequence here shows 3-pointer after 3-pointer after 3-pointer. There's no more fundamentals of the game. This is the reason why I hate to say it, but this league is terrible, Derek.
Did you see LeBron take the three? LeBron's missed 23s in a row.
Yes.
And they were fortunate to beat Utah. Of course, the coach called a timeout, and as Colin Sexton was laying the ball up. But yeah, it's an ugly game right now, man. It's either you take the dunk or you settle for the 3-pointer, and if you see the ratings are kind of suffering because of it. Yeah. A lot of people have stopped watching, man. They've been they're kind of fed up with the way the game is right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to get better anytime soon. And this is not the league that I'm used to. I've tried to kind of conform to what's going on today, but I got to be honest, man. It's ugly basketball.
It's very, very ugly basketball. I don't know, man.
Look at the All-Star game. What are they doing now in the All-Star game?
The All-Star game, it was something that I used to record on my VHS VCR, and I would rewatch it months and months later, years later. I would rewatch it because the All-Star game was an All-Star game, but it was competitive. It was the best players in the league playing, like a pickup game, but they were so competitive because why? They didn't want to lose. Now it's, logo shots. It's, having fun about this, doing this. And, oh, you know what? We're just, here to score 190.
They want to be paid. They say they're talking about all the money that the NBA is making off the All-Star game. So it's not enough that they're already giving you a 5-year, $250 million deal, and you play 65 games. Now they want to be paid basically for the All-Star game. So you have to pay them to go out and play the game hard, play the All-Star game hard, instead of accepting it as a privilege to even be chosen to play in the All-Star game. It's been some sad times, man, sad days.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to get any better anytime soon, but we can always hope. And it's not a sad day when I say I'm looking forward to the WNBA season to hurry up and get back.
Boy, don't even get me started. I can't wait till this new year. You got Stephanie White in Indiana. It's going to be exciting. And then you notice they play fundamental basketball.
Yeah, we can't deny that. I prefer college basketball, WNBA, and then the NBA, to be honest with you. I don't know. I mean, if I could get FIBA games left and right, I'd be probably watching FIBA games and overseas games, but I don't have a way to get those types of games here in the United States. So, it's what do you got, Ray?
I feel, man, my brother started off as a 19-year-old, okay, playing in the ABA. And here we are all these years later. I'm watching the NBA, and sometimes I don't know what I'm watching. I'm like, is this a horse competition around the world? And those are the games we played as kids, horse or around the world. And that's what I feel like I'm looking at now. I want to look at the game of basketball, the fundamentals, guys like Jokic. I want a league of Jokic type guys. I'm not saying on his level of play, but guys that understand the game. And what we're looking at right now, I mean, it's ugly.
It's very, very ugly, but that is the game. And unfortunately, that's the time that we are living in right now when it comes to the state of basketball. Last thing was sure, it's going to be Derek Irvin. It's going to be myself. We're going to be back tomorrow night as well as Wednesday and Thursday. And I believe Friday. I think we got a whole slate of shows coming here. So be on the lookout. We got a couple of more shows that are going to be released. Sweep Unplugged is going to go live again here pretty soon. We're lining up Jeff Garcia to do a Sweep Unplugged live show. We're also lining up one of the local reporters here, sports reporters, Isabella Ladanoff. She's supposed to be coming on. And I know I mispronounced her last name. She's going to give me crap for it. But talking to her, she's going to be making an appearance on Sweep Unplugged as well.
I also made a phone call today. So, Tim, if you're still on here, I talked to Ariana Robertson's dad today. He's coming back from a trip. I won't say where he's coming from, but he'll be back in San Antonio tomorrow. So I've talked to him today about getting Ariana on the show because John's one of his daughters goes to TCU, Rudy. And of course, Ariana's hurt, but she's a Duke Blue Devil. And if you look at the rankings, Duke is ranked number 8 right now, and TCU is ranked number 9. So I want to get Ariana on so we could talk about her and her sister and what it feels like for the two of them to be on such highly coveted teams right now.
You know, it's funny. Before we go, TCU, man, I've been watching. Haley Van Lith was the girl that she kind of bounced around a little bit, right? For
LSU, and then and then who did she go play with?
Wasn't South Carolina, was it, or US or?
It was LSU, but before LSU, she was somewhere else.
Was it USC?
This is her 3rd team.
Yeah, I can't remember offhand where she was, but she's been getting, a lot of love too. And I've been watching her game, and I'm kind of impressed by it. I'm actually pretty impressed by it. I like watching her play basketball, and that's Haley Van Lith. And again, part of TCU, number 9 in the country. Teaming up with Robertson as well, with Aliyah Robertson, I think is her name, Ariana's sister. Yeah. So yeah, that'll be a good conversation.
Ariel, or one of them, it might be Ariel. I don't know. It's a few. They all got the A's in there. So
yeah, that's all. Yeah, we got a lot of shows coming up. I know Wednesday night, before we do Sweep the League TV, we've got another NFL mock draft show coming up with myself, with Brandis and William Yanish. That's going to be another hour or 30 minutes, 45 minutes before we do STL Sweep the League TV. So Wednesday is going to be a full loaded show. We've got a sports card show coming out as well, either that day or the next day. So everybody, you know what? Go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, be a subscriber so you don't miss out. But for Derek Irvin, Coach Gio is working. So don't worry about Coach Gio, guys. He's on hiatus because he's got some work to do. So he'll be back here pretty soon. But for for Hall of Famer Derek Irvin, for Coach Gio, for the entire
Rudy, wait, don't hang, Rudy. Let me show you something quickly before, because I'm hoping people are enjoying their time with their families.
Yeah,
and I hope you can see this. We had a thing Saturday at my brother's house. That's his son, George's son, Jared, there. And so you see, we had a little fun. My niece is coming on right here. So we had a little 70s event this past Saturday, man. So I hope people are taking time to enjoy with their families, because tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Enjoy everything you can every time with your family. And you know what? That's the most important thing right now. We just coming off Thanksgiving. You got Christmas coming up. These holidays, they got to be celebrated with family 100% of the time. So Derek's right. I agree with that 100%. You got to enjoy time with your family, because tomorrow is never promised. But nonetheless, Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos, we're going to be coming back to you tomorrow. We got a whole week of shows coming to you. Tomorrow's going to be the release of the top 12 in college football for the playoffs. We're going to get into that. Power rankings coming out Wednesday. We're going to talk NBA hoops. We're going to talk about just about everything that we can for you guys. Pick'em shows coming later on in the week. We got not rivalry week, but we got championship week coming up for college football. There's going to be some massive games there. So until then, man, we're going to end tonight's show with letting everybody know that we appreciate every single one of y'all. We didn't work on Thanksgiving here. We weren't on here for Thanksgiving, but we want you to know we are very thankful for all the support that we get from y'all for Sweep the League. So for Hall of Famer Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos Jr., until we sweep the league again, we'll see you later, knuckleheads.
Everybody have a good night. Stay safe.
Are you a hockey fan looking for the latest on the Edmonton Oilers, Pittsburgh Penguins, and NHL news of the week? Barry and Carson Best bring it all to you on the Best Boys Center Ice podcast. They break down games, provide insider updates, and keep you up to speed every week. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and join their hockey
Exclusive interviews with Rudy and the crew. Let's go. We build a legacy. Yeah, they know the name. STL Music, it's a movement, not just a claim. Loyalty, respect, that's the code we honor. In the face of adversity, we stand and stronger. We build a legacy. Yeah, they know the name. STL Music, it's a movement, not just a claim. Loyalty, respect, that's the code we honor. In the face of adversity, we stand and struggle.